Hello and welcome to another episode of CRT Sound System. Here talking about Etrian Odyssey Nexus. It's episode 87. Wow. So yeah, here as always with Reese. Reese, how are you?
Incredible. How are you, Tom?
I'm great. Yeah. Looking forward to talking about this game, this series with you. Yeah. And we've got a guest with us.
Could I reintroduce Reese before we introduce me? I can't actually sing, but just because Reese's display name here is Jammer Reese, I feel strongly that someone should try to sing Jammer Reese. Yeah, yeah.
That is one of the greatest honors that has ever been bestowed on me. So,
well, I remember I was very, very frustrated when I logged on because there was another user in the chat who was identical to you, but like a photo negative. And came from hell, I believe, and that was caused some trouble.
Jammer Geese. Jammer Geese. is no good. She will fucking obliterate your refrigerator in more ways than one. Careful.
I think that character's name should have been Jammer Damned E from the Lammy game. Yeah. Talking about a different game. I'm sorry.
Talking about a completely different game. Say hello, Abby.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I am Abby Denton. I am ABD on the CRT. I believe that's a cool. That's how the hip young kids talk. They say I've got Riz.
That's
they say
how they talk, yeah.
That is the hip.
No child has ever said I have Riz. My coworkers keep saying the word Riz, but they're unwilling to tell me what it means. I think they're afraid of what would happen if I learned how to talk like them.
Oh, it's my understanding is it's short for Rizzler, and so I'm googling that.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
That sounds right.
When I come upon any information, none yet.
Fair.
I still haven't figured it out. Nobody said I have it anyway, so it's all fine.
I've asked if I have Riz, and somebody gave me like a 35-second look and went, "Yeah."
Hey.
So.
Fantastic. All right, so yeah, we're talking about Etrian Odyssey, and Abby, this was your choice, so I'm gonna get you to tell the fine folks out there all about Etrian Odyssey.
Well, Etrian Odyssey was a series of dungeon crawlers on the DS and later the 3DS, and now re-released on the Switch and PC, and I don't know other systems. And the two sellers for it, the one, well, I guess three. One was just really good party tactics combat. Two was there's sort of a retro map making element on the DS. The lower screen was you draw a little map as you go through this tile dungeon. And you mark like, oh, there's a bear that lives here, and it goes in a circle, and to help you keep away because there'd be super bosses roaming the dungeon. And the
so
third
many super
and
bosses.
Oh my gosh, yeah, FOEs they're called, something enemy.
I forget what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. The what is it? Chunsoft did that's it. Chunsoft did a like a top down like a mystery dungeon spinoff. They did two of those. I think only one got translated. And the FOEs are rebranded as something else because they're, I don't know. It's. I like that was part of their identity. But anyway, the third and most germane reason this was sold, and indeed the reason it was sold to me, was because Yuzo Koshiro, the sort of the goat of the FM Township, did a lot of music, like Streets of Rage soundtrack, I believe. Also, apparently his wife is a talented concept artist, or his sister had done concept art for a bunch of the Streets of Rage games. Yeah. But anyway, he did sort of retro throwback music styled after like PC 98 and Genesis songs for the first couple Etrian Odyssey games, and then as the series went on, they let him branch out into more modern synthesis and synthesizers and real instruments. I personally think.
Well, I wouldn't say they let him. He was doing what he was doing.
That's fair. Yeah, it feels like you go to an Itzhak Perlman concert, and he's like, well, I want to try the ukulele. I just, he's so honed in. It's specifically the song, the first campaign from the third Etrian Odyssey, someone posted a link to it. Kurt Kalata of Hardcore Gaming 101 posted a link to it on his blog, like back in 2009 or whenever Etrian Odyssey 3 came out. And it was so good that it got me into Yuzo Koshiro and also sold
nice.
Etrian Odyssey 3 to me. So this seems like that's why I suggested it to CRT Sound System, because it's a rare game that was sold to me purely on the strength of its music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent pick. I mean, we are Yuzo fans here, no surprise. Really, the Mozart of VGM. Just I always remember that story of him just going to the arcade with a tape deck and like recording different noises, and then going home and just like playing them back and just being like, all right, how am I going to recreate this and make music? The man, just his entire brain connectivity is music and song, and it was really exciting because I saw this and I was like, oh, Etrian Odyssey, this is a game, I'm pretty sure. I don't know anything about it, and so I started the HD remake that came with the Humble Bundle, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Oh, who does this soundtrack? And I fucking lost my mind.
Yay!
So I'm so excited. This is a true banger, Abby.
Does
thanks for bringing it to us.
Thank you so much. Does the remake do they remaster the music at all, or is it still the FM Towns? I think that's, I don't know, sound chips.
The FM synth. Yeah.
Synth. Yeah. Is it still that sound, or have they redone the music?
They did. I would say they've updated it in terms of fidelity, but my understanding is it's pretty similar.
I believe it's the same soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought the first game on the DS, back like right when it first came out, and it was on the Something Awful DS thread.
Ooh.
And like people were like, oh, this game just came out and it's dope as hell. And it never actually came out in Europe, so it was one of those games that I ended up having to buy off PlayAsia. PlayAsia got so much of my money back in those days because you could get a DS game off them. Like stuff like the Phoenix Wright games and stuff like that, stuff that wasn't coming out in Europe, or stuff that was coming out in Europe but like a year after everything else. And it was sort of it was just PlayAsia got a lot of my money back then.
Have you shopped from PlayAsia lately?
No, thankfully.
They have like a VTuber mascot, and I got like a complimentary sticker with her on it.
Oh my goodness!
I think it was a plush something.
I stopped buying.
I guess they're going into a mascot.
Yeah, they're they're a bit of a weird place to go these days, I find.
It's fascinating, just scrolling through all of the pornography.
Yeah. But yeah, I just ordered the game online, just sight unseen. But because a lot of the times, if stuff was recommended in the Something Awful threads, it was usually a pretty good thing to pick up. And loved it. Ended up sort of going really deep into it for about 20 hours, and then sort of giving up on the grind. Because if nothing else about this series, they are grindy as hell.
Yeah. I think the what is it? Etrian Odyssey Nexus, the sort of, it's like a crossover, but it's got so much recycled content from all the other games that people who'd played them hated it. I only played the third one, so then Nexus, which is I understand formally the one we're doing because it has so much music. Yeah. Remastered music. Between you and me, if you're looking into the third game soundtrack specifically, get the original third. Don't listen to my music opinions. I have no experience or expertise. But oh gosh,
we'll cut that out. We're gassing everybody up. Everybody who comes on this podcast, we're giving them a PhD.
Oh, thank you.
Video game music. So
I've forgotten where I was going. I kept getting distracted. I'm sorry. What was I gonna say? What did you say for Push?
I can't even remember now.
Oh no! Oh, you got it off PlayAsia. You got it off. Oh, you went deep into it.
Yeah, and you were talking about
VTuber,
Nexus,
and you went into it deep for 20 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
And
I thought it was so fascinating. Yeah. Okay, it's good that you brought up the grind, because that, I'll say, the later games like post eShop, the Nexus game I got, and I got the it was like $2 to get a special accessory that like triples your experience gain. And
oh
it
my goodness,
simultaneously
okay.
feels like cheating, and also is the only way to make the game not incredibly cruel, because it everyone is so strong. I went through the whole game not sure if I was over leveled or what, because
Yeah,
it
it's a
DLC, yeah.
struggle, especially for those first few hours when you're like trying to figure out what your party is and sort of do all
Yeah.
that as well. Because like I suppose one of the other major things about this game is like party construction is such a massive part of it. You've got like what 12 classes, maybe more, and like it's yeah you there's so many different ways you can construct a party, and like a lot of the time you end up sort of having to have two different parties, one for like gathering and then one for actually going in and like clearing out bosses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like it's just party construction is a massive part of it. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, it I would say the balance is cruel enough that you're excused cheating.
Absolutely, yeah.
Unless you're really into it. For like, I'm glad that there is an RPG for the real heads, but whenever I try to play it as like a hardcore game, I just get so frustrated. Which, if you're there for it, I realize that makes me sound weak. But then the existence of the DLC, like I haven't seen a lot of those lately. Like you'll see a game that'll be, here's $1 for like, you can level a guy up to 30, but not a thing that just actually changes the number that you're grinding at.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like, this will save you exactly an hour, instead of this will make the game 20% easier for you or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what is the best version of that. I feel like it's incredibly sleazy. I want to say I read that you can't get the DLC stuff when you emulate. I don't know why not, or how that works.
Interesting.
If that's true, then that's incredibly frustrating, because that means that you've just fundamentally got a more miserable experience.
Yeah. I feel like just increasing the numbers of XP is probably a fairly fair way to do it, just because like it's reducing the amount of time that you have to spend doing it, but doesn't actually alter the difficulty of like combat or anything like that.
Yeah.
I
And you
suppose
can rebuild your party.
way in which it really affects combat is just like any given run is not going to be as punishing, and this game can be very punishing, or at least this series can be very punishing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
My understanding, like playing the first one and reading about it as it goes on, so much of the fun is playing with the sort of more bespoke classes and seeing how you can build the subclasses and shit like that. And having to like grind all of that up just like adds a force multiplier on the whole grindiness thing that like I get it that there are sickos out there. I am a sicko, but also I have less time these days than I did when I was 12. It's crazy. I have that happen.
Yeah.
And so I think that is in fact a smart and reasonable way to play the game. I think there's a conversation about the predatory nature of that kind of DLC. But like we've gotten so far into the like microtransaction loot box sphere that we can comfortably let that rest for now, because
I feel like now you'll usually see it. Yeah, I'm sorry I spoke over you. I feel like now
No,
you'll
no,
usually
okay.
see it as the what do you call it? The like easy mode or casual, or what is it? Story focused. For those who wish for a story focused experience is usually how I see it.
Yeah.
And I always say, no, of course not. I'm a grown woman. And then 2 hours later, I say, well,
How about
I
that
gotta
story
cook
mode?
dinner in a bit. Yeah.
God, I that hit me so hard with Silent Hill F. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the true scary game experience. And the hard version was like so punishing. They were throwing so many enemies, and it's like, oh, it's actually not very scary to just be beaten to death over and over and over again. It stops being scary after the
Yeah.
fourth time you're beaten to death. And so I get it. I at this point in my life, casual mode, story mode, all the way. Tell people I beat it on nightmare difficulty. How can they prove it?
Oh yeah. To be clear, we've all beaten all of these games 100% because they're very, we are for the mania, this podcast. But
100%.
yeah, but like you shouldn't feel like you should, because that would be ridiculous. But if you have if you're lucky enough to be able to commute by rail, and there aren't like guys on the train with metal sticks that they're sort of waving around like on the Los Angeles metro that I commute on, that makes me reluctant to bring my 3DS out anymore, then I bet these are great, because every day you're getting 2 hours of grinding in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
mean, the real joy of these games is making the map and creating your little nest of information floor by floor. And there's really no amount of XP boosting or power leveling that can take that away from you,
Yeah.
And because that's been the real pleasure for me going through this, is that I've certainly been grinding. I did the absolutely insane quest where it wants you to spend 5 days on floor 8, and I'm just like, what kind of idiot would do that? Me. But just kind of figuring out, like in this latest level, there's like these little lotus flowers that like float around and take you to different islands and stuff, and it was a wonderful little puzzle to just like how to present that in a way that's going to make sense to me when I return to the floor a second time. And they incentivize that with the side quests that you get sort of like after you pass the floor. It's a real pleasure. I can only imagine how much crazier it gets in the later games, how much more grindy it gets. But yeah.
Yeah, they're more grindy, but they also, I think, have a few more sort of little things to make it a little bit easier for you, just in terms of like quality of life, even without those DLCs.
Yeah, you know how competitive Pokemon had some of them like will only play on the simulator, where you can just make a perfect guy. Like, here's my Charizard with the perfect stats, and I'm gonna test him out against whatever. And I feel like this game would. The combat system is intense enough that I feel like that might be its ideal. Like, almost if you split every section, like, take the music and it just exists on its own, and someone who just likes the music could just like it. I feel like the gestalt is almost too punishing to. I wonder if anyone ever wanted to make an Etrian Odyssey Maker type thing. Like, I'm sure there are dungeon crawler generator games, but with I forget this artist's art style. They did what is it? Heart of Crown. I always mean to get that card game. The what is it? It's like a deck builder, because the Etrian Odyssey artist did a lot of cards for it.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
it's
familiar with that.
Well, you know how like Chrono Trigger is like they got a super team of all the best guys. They're like, oh, I got the best guy for music, I got the best guy for art, and all the best guys together made like this perfect whole. Etrian Odyssey is almost something where like I wish I could peel everything off and just have the one bit that I want today, and then.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at Heart of Crown there. That art style is definitely the same.
Well, I could swear one of the covers is just the shopkeeper from Etrian Odyssey 3 and Nexus, who like that cover is called Far East Exports or Imports, and I always think that that's the name of that girl's shop in Etrian Odyssey because she looks so similar. I think she's just making a similar face. I don't know.
Yeah. That's funny.
Actually, we keep looking at the cover of the soundtrack for Etrian Nexus, which was like they bring in all these elements from the other games. They've got like the broadest party class roster. They don't have different species because the fifth one is set in space. Spoilers.
Oh yeah.
And there's like random. There's like an elf or I don't remember. I haven't played it.
Yeah,
It might not be set in space. It's just in another part of the world.
Yeah, there are some gimmicks to the other ones as well. Like in the fourth one, you have an airship.
Ooh.
Yeah, and like there's like a separate sort of airship mode that you go around like the world map, and then obviously once you sort of find the dungeons in the map, then you go in. So like there's definitely some reasons to play the other ones. Like they're not all the same, but like
yeah.
This one, I suppose, it gives you a nice little taste of each game.
yeah. Here's what I think is the weirdest thing about Nexus is right in the center of the soundtrack album. The green-haired girl is the hero class, which is new for Nexus. That's the one new class in Nexus. But the thing with hero is that they made it so that you could deliberately like just solo the game with one character if you wanted to, because its thing is it makes like shadow clones of itself. And so the more empty party slots you have, the more extra guys clones it gets. Yeah.
Interesting.
And so apparently that's one of the this is the game where you're encouraged to solo if you want to just solo, but I don't know, when I played with it, it felt like I was cheating almost. It had too many too many options.
That does seem sort of like sidestepping the whole like an entire aspect of the game, the party creation of like,
and the fact that no matter what you feel like like it, even you have 6 party slots, but you can only have 5 guys. So even with a full party, like you physically feel like you don't have enough guys, and then you also like you'll always feel like you need one guy to gather, or you're missing a healer or you're missing a defender. Like you never feel like you have everything. Like your what did you call them? Blasters, like your super attackers. Like they'll specialize in elemental attacks or elemental magic or like the variety of like piercing, bashing, slashing damage.
Yeah.
But they don't do all of them. So like even if you focus on all your defensive stuff, like your attackers won't necessarily be able to peel off all the bits of the monsters that you need to sell to get your new sword or whatever, because all your equipment is based on the monster parts you're selling to the cute girls back in town.
Another fun aspect.
Oh yeah. This is I would say this is the cutest art that you can find that doesn't make you think that this guy has a second art feed where he should be arrested.
That's a good way of putting it, delicately.
For sure.
I've been appreciating from what I've read about Nexus is that apparently what it sort of offers, even though it's doing a remix thing, is that you can kind of customize each of the classes however you want, which of course takes, more leveling. So, buckle in for that. Yeah. But you can sort of start to get your team together and just be like, well, I don't have that, but I can sort of shape my various characters so that I can have that extra elemental damage or healing or tankiness later on as it goes. So it offers a lot of, customization in that way. I was reading some Reddit post about Etrian Odyssey, and it said it was one of the greatest headcanon video games out there because there's no story other than like, this is the world tree. What if you went inside it? Wouldn't that be fucked up? That's the story. And so you just have to be like, oh yeah, we didn't bring along the alchemist because she sucked. We didn't like her attitude or whatever, But I was thinking about it like last night in bed, like unbidden, imagining, these traveling lotus flowers that on this huge dungeon lake, and it's just a cool game and a very much a greater than the sum of its parts games, even though its parts are well crafted and lovely. I feel.
Yeah, the headcanon is a lot of like you're. It's one of those games where you're the guild master and you control your party, and of course you can say, "Oh, my guild master is this character," but everyone will address you as, "Hey, guild leader," and then you can, when you respec your characters, you can say they took a break and lost a couple levels and got their skill points back, so you can reinvest them, or you can recreate the character. And I think it's described as like their apprentice comes out, which is a lot of fun to be like, oh, this is, we've been here for so many years that Arthur, son of Schmarther, has taken his sword.
It's a great mechanic that seems like, at least in one, like the least worth it thing on offer in any video game ever. Because it's just like took so long to level this character up to 40, and they're just like, yeah, do you want to retire and get +2 strength and like 2 skill points? And I'm like, no. That is awful. How dare you offer that to me? But it's a great idea. It's really fun.
Yeah. And then with all of the events that happen in the dungeon, sometimes they'll come back, like there'll be a fountain in a dungeon that restores your magic points, and you can go back every week or something. It'll replenish. But then sometimes there'll be, I think there's a recurring thing where it's like you find a potion just sitting there, and if you go to grab it, then like a bear will run out and try to attack you, and you have to fight a bear. And usually, at least by Nexus, I forget if this is in the earlier ones, like it'll let you choose like which of your characters does a thing, like who puts their arm in a spooky hole in the wall. And so that's another fun thing where you can be like, well, the wizard shouldn't really be trying to fix a hole in the rock, but my wizard likes fixing things, and so I'm gonna try, whatever. They give you opportunities to role play that a lot of games wouldn't.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of like emotions in my game, in the sense that like I went up to like the 4th floor, and you're just like, oh, terror strikes the heart of your dungeon party. As you know, there's a lot of big cats around, and that's freaking you the fuck out. And then you get into a new room, and it'd be like, the growling and terror grows ever closer. And I'm just like, this is awesome. This is dope.
Yeah,
and
they really lead into that. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. All right, so I think we'll jump into the first block of tracks.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, let's listen to some music. So I have 3 tracks here. These are all Cityscape tracks. So like there's a couple of different like subcategories of tracks in the game. So Cityscape. We have Seek the Hidden Treasure, Etch Thy Name Among the Stars, and Cradle of the Lone Isle. Oh, we got distracted there, so forgot to stop the music.
Oh, I didn't get distracted.
I suppose you mentioned in the first part, Abby, just about like the first few games in the series being more sort of FM synth based, and I'm pretty sure that was a choice on Koshiro's part, just because even if you go back to 5, he ended up doing a lot of if you have the soundtrack for 5, the second disc is a bunch of like downgrades, I guess, or like the original compositions done on FM synth.
Huh.
So like
the first few also have upgrades where they remastered them with real instruments at the time. So I wonder if like he just liked working both. He just liked to show that he could.
Yeah, he did. Like if you follow him on Twitter, which I highly recommend you do, but he often posts stuff of like his workflows and stuff, and like he'll post stuff where he's like he still uses like old PC-88s to compose his music.
Yo.
So like even the newer stuff that he's making, I think he's starting off with it on like on a PC-88, and then that's getting sort of transferred over to more modern equipment then to actually turn it into what you actually hear. But yeah, he definitely still sort of works a lot on those sort of older hardware. But like this one is like definitely a lot more sort of orchestrated, and like the fidelity is much higher. And yeah,
I wonder if he decided the tiny handheld speakers, like it sounded better, the strings sound better than FM synth or something. I wonder how that.
Yeah, because like the DS could certainly handle like proper like orchestrated music or just like anything that was just sort of recorded modernly. I don't think it even had like a PCM chip or an FM synth or anything. So like anything that would have been playing out of it was just pre-recorded regardless. So I think it was more of a choice than it was like a technical limitation.
That's good.
But either way, like those old soundtracks are great, and like if you like FM synth music for sure, definitely worth checking out those older soundtracks.
I'm having such a great time imagining Yuzo Koshiro, the coolest man maybe ever, like working in his back room with this ancient computer, and like his granddaughter who doesn't know or care about any of this is just like, all right, grandpa, whatever, what are you doing? You're playing with your busted old World War II spy computer.
Yeah,
I'm composing Cradle of the Lone Isle, which sounds like it's the office music for the best Perfect Strangers visual novel that doesn't exist. It's some really great tunes we just listened to. I'm still coming down, to be honest.
Cousin Larry, I have defeated the super boss. I am level 18 now. Cousin Larry, aren't you proud? That's Perfect Strangers, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I love you, Cousin Larry. I am a psychic in the movie now. I am in the big movies. I am bigger than you, Cousin Larry. No, you're not. I'm Mark Appleby. It's just Bronson Pinchot. Oh, never mind. It's very stupid. John Larroquette was in that movie too. Both of them were completely wasted.
I'm not sure if I've ever seen it, to be honest.
I'm not sure. I remember the name, but it's fine.
I only vaguely remember Perfect Strangers enough to use it as a punchline to 1 out of every 6 jokes in my life. But I don't actually know much about the performers.
I would love to be able to do the same reference for every 1 out of every 6 jokes I do. Anyway, have y'all ever heard of Digimon?
No, tell us.
Well, okay, so they're digital monsters. They live inside of the network, and they've sort of absorbed the psychic energy that humans imprint into our technology. You know, and so like they don't get it.
Can they fit in a pocket? Is my question.
I would say Ukomon can.
Pocket monsters. Okay.
Some kind of pocket monster?
Yeah.
A monster in your pocket. Ah, yes, it's a reference to the beloved 80s toy line, Monster in My Pocket. I understand.
Yeah. I mean, just doing a bunch of James Gunn humor tonight.
Yeah.
It's Yuzo is really Dis the King. I really enjoy. It certainly sounds like RPG music, but it's really pushing it. Like that one we just listened to felt like maybe it was bordering on city pop a little bit.
Yeah,
Like it's which is what Yuzo loves to do. I understand, but it's still just such a pleasure to be listening to these tracks, and considering how much you're going to be hearing of each of them, it lets you settle in.
Yeah, like the Cityscape tracks are all that sort of vibe, and like throughout the whole series, like he splits them up by like sort of town tracks and like Labyrinth exploration tracks, and then like the like battle tracks, of which there are many, and some of the best RPG battle themes of all time in this series. If you love an RPG battle theme, but like he really sort of he leans into the sort of more very chill sort of what's that? Misty Blue is that the name of that PC? Shit, yeah, he did a soundtrack for like a visual novel in the 80s. I think it was called Misty Blue, and it's got that very similar vibe to it, like an 80s anime sort of, as Abby said during the break. Like it's just got that whole vibe to it, and then like the labyrinths are a little bit more atmospheric, and they're sort of because you're stalking around and trying to avoid giant bears and deers that are trying to kill you. The most murderous deers and bears you've ever seen in your goddamn life. And like, yeah, it just the whole exploration of the game is it can be very tense because as I mentioned, the game is quite difficult. A lot of the time, you're sort of making runs to get as far as you can and try and map as much of the game. As much of the floor as you can, maybe find some shortcuts and things like that. But like any given battle can just kill you. You have to be like really, really careful through the dungeons. And like one of the most genius thing I think in this game is the little orb in the bottom right hand corner. When you're walking around, and it like changes color. The more steps you take. Without a battle, it changes color and it increases the likelihood that you will get a battle. So like when you're like down to like your last few hit like health points and you've got no potions left and you're just trying to make one last run out of the dungeon, and like that you've got like 3 steps to the door and that orb is flashing red and you're just like, oh god, please just let me get to this door. It's like it's really tense, and it's also very frustrating when you run into a random battle then and get murdered. But that's Etrian Odyssey for you.
Yeah. Well, if you buy the DLC, then you'll always feel appropriately leveled for the dungeon you're in.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
I can't decide if that's right or wrong. It's interesting what you were saying about avoiding bears and deer, because I live in a pretty densely built up city called Los Angeles, and bears and deer, it never really comes up, my need to avoid them, and yet in many ways the evasion of bears and deer has shaped the course of my entire life.
Well, sometimes they aren't literal bears and deer, but they're metaphorical representations. I get on public transportation, I usually have to avoid at least one bear type situation.
Well, I would love to hear this elaborated on.
Unfortunately, I can't.
I was at a gay bar the other night, and I would say the gay bars in Los Angeles skew more twinkwards than I was expected. I mean, I guess I should have expected it because Los Angeles, but like, no bears.
Yeah, this is
in Chicago.
A low bear count in Seattle as well. I would say we're drowning in otters here. Which is none of my business, but is just.
I don't want to hear about otters drowning. They're meant to be good at swimming. The floodwater is. When will it recede?
Aren't drowning. I'm drowning.
Those poor moist bastards.
It's not a productive area of conversation, I feel.
No, we're finding the answer here.
That's fair. That's fair.
Abby, tell me about FOEs.
All right. Well, you know how if you're going to be fired, you're sort of avoiding HR. You're hoping your manager doesn't notice you for another day, and you kind of, you crouch behind one of the dividers, and you huddle into your, you come to work dressed as one of your coworkers in the hopes that from behind you can pass yourself off as them, so that they can't give you your termination letter. And in many ways,
works?
That's largely how
American employment law is bizarre.
I just came in again a day later. They didn't know that I quit, like Mr. Costanza. There's FOE stands for something. I should have had this looked up. FOE, Etrian Odyssey. It's a very silly. Okay, Formido Pugnatura Exsequens, or Foedus Oprepit Erabundus in Europe, or Field On Enemy in Japan, meaning an enemy you can see on the field. They wander around the dungeon and you can see them from outside. In the early games, they're just sort of hovering balls. They're little ghosts. And they wander usually in a set pattern. Like they'll walk around the exit of a room, or the circle of the room, so you have to carefully dodge them. By the later games, there you sort of physically see the bear walking toward you or whatever. Yeah. I don't know if I like that better or worse. Some of them will notice you. Some of them you can sort of affect their paths, where you have to move a rock so that instead of taking a left, it'll go down a hallway or something. And you're trying to navigate around them. And the dungeons are basically built so that you never have to fight one of them, because they're incredibly strong and very frustrating. And the thing about the combat... sorry.
And they're not, in many, if not most cases, not really worth killing. Like, maybe you'll get a good item, but most of the time you'll just have to, like, spend all your TP to get rid of them, and then you're just sort of depleted for the run forward. And, like, 1 out of every, like, 7-8 times, maybe you'll get, like, a unique item drop that you can use to build... some weapon, maybe, but it's not worth hunting them, especially when you're just trying to make progress.
Yeah, and they all have so much health, and all the battles, even regular battles, you're usually encouraged to, you do debuffs, you do binds, you do status effects, and even if you're targeting their weakness, like, battles go on for a fair number of turns, even just against normal enemies. And this is even in Nexus, where I had this super experience point thing, like, battles would take several turns. Usually. And then FOEs are strong and have truckloads of health. But then you'll still get a quest that'll be like, not only do you have to get a drop from this guy, not only do you have to kill this guy, not only do you have to get an item drop from him, you need to get the rare drop that you'll only get if you finish him off with a lightning attack or whatever. And so you need a guy with the ability to see how much health it has left so you don't accidentally kill it early. And so that you're doing the lightning attack or whatever. And it's, I guess I'd say they view it as the epitome of, like, the Etrian Odyssey philosophy, where, it's a challenge because they're trusting their audience to be able to manage the challenge. And in that regard, they've absolutely succeeded. And if this whole description makes you excited, then I respect you. I admire you. I fear you.
Yeah, I would say at its core, what I didn't understand about Etrian Odyssey before approaching it is that it's 50% map fucker. You're fucking those maps. It's obscene. But the other 50% is puzzle dungeon gameplay, where the game's always wanting you to find this specific skill or navigate this monster or the dungeon in this specific way. And in the first one, they give you, like, pretty good hints. Not always good hints, but you're always kind of encouraged to manipulate the mechanics in this specific way. And it's pretty special, I find. Like, doing the FOE kind of stuff is always interesting. Like, the one FOE that in this one area I was in had, like, you had to fight the boss, and then a whole bunch of, like, FOEs, like, aggro, like, around the boss and, like, join the fight. And so you have to, like, manage, like, all these fucking ants while you're killing the royal ant, and you're like, dog, I'm just killing your father. Calm down.
It can happen the other way too, where you'll be running from an FOE, and then you'll get a random attack, and every turn it gets a move on the physical map. And then if you're still fighting like 3 turns later, then the guy catches up with you and it joins. And then if you're in a room where there's like 8 FOEs, then eventually they'll all circle in. And I want to say, at least in Nexus, you get like an experience chain if you do that on purpose. I think like you get a bonus to your. Not that you need it if you're getting the DLC, like a cool girl.
Yeah.
But yeah,
in the remake of 1, you don't get an experience chain. You get to die.
This is fair.
Do.
It's sometimes there'll be ones that you're kind of expected to fight, and sometimes there'll be ones that are almost purely obstacles. And I like the puzzle ones best. I think that's probably the most fun. Like in Nexus, so I guess in one of the other ones probably, since everything there is recycled, there's like a dungeon area that's it's like 2-tiered. Like you're on the floor, and then there's like a raised platform version of the dungeon, like you can climb up and down, and so you're switching over and you're trying to find the right route, and one of the FOEs in that area is like a beetle that'll fall asleep or it'll patrol sometimes, and you have to sort of hop across the beetle's back in order to get from the rooftop areas, and so you have to try to get a guy to fall asleep in the right place, or you can push them like boulders, but if you go on the wrong side, then they'll wake up and chase you. Or you need to lure a super giant badger into the path of a tree so that it'll knock down the tree and open a path for you. But then there's an angry badger chasing you. It's neat. I guess there aren't a lot of dungeon crawlers that would have that, because most of them, the guys aren't physically there until you're in battle with them.
You're not really see it is, I suppose, one of the unique things about the series. It's sort of one of its calling cards, I guess. I posted that video in the chat there, but I remember that meme going around a lot on like 4chan and stuff. The just people being very silly about the FOEs. Because there's such a big part of the game, and like they're more or less optional. There's a few of them I think that you do have to, or at least that would, if you don't beat them, the game is much more difficult to navigate. But they are super tough, and almost certainly just not worth the time and effort to actually beat them. But if you like a challenge, and this game has plenty of challenge as it is, but if you like a challenge, the FOEs are a fun way to do it. But yeah, I think we'll jump into the next block of tracks.
Hey.
So this block actually has a track with an arrangement by Nijuhachi Haneda, who is not somebody I'd heard of before looking into this soundtrack, but seems to be somebody who is sort of working alongside Yuzo Koshiro a lot. I can see his name there on the remake. So there's 2 remakes of 1 and 2. There's like the remakes that Reese is playing, and then there was like remakes on the 3DS called Untold, I believe they were.
Do these
called.
Not keep the Untold stuff? Like you don't have the option for a pre-built party story?
I'm not too sure. I haven't played either of them.
I never played any of the Untolds. It's sad that those. I guess that's lost content or something.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. But they're not. None of that stuff is in the remakes that were released recently. But yeah, like he did that soundtrack. He did Puzzle and Dragons X, Cyber Troopers, Virtualon, Wangan Midnight, like a bunch of stuff that Koshiro has also worked on. So I'm not too sure about their relationship, but they're clearly working together, even up to like the ActRaiser Renaissance soundtrack.
I didn't know Koshiro did that. Now I gotta check that game out.
Oh yeah,
despite all my instincts.
Reese, you said the ActRaiser Renaissance is quite good, isn't it?
Yes, it is very silly. There's like a tower defense mini game kind of bolted on some of the stuff, and I like the sound of this. I don't know if we needed this in ActRaiser. This makes it maybe 1,000,000% stupider, but the music is great, and it's just you'll be fine as playing the original ActRaiser. It's not one you got to play, but I think for the sickos among us, you will be given medicine.
Medicine.
All right, so we've got 3 tracks. First one is Islescape, Undiscovered Continent. Then the second one, which is by Yuzo Koshiro and Nijuhachi Haneda, is Labyrinth, World Shrine. And then we have Labyrinth, Abyssal Shrine. The thing I suppose that with those tracks is they're so perfectly tuned to be like both sort of relaxing but also keeping you on edge at all times as well. And I don't know, is that just sort of from playing the games and sort of associating that with these tracks, but like I just feel like he definitely sort of catches this very very subtle difference between like this is relaxing but also watch out because you could get murdered by a deer at any moment.
Yeah, and I find it to be those emotions are quite those feelings are quite synergized in the music. Like sometimes you'll listen to music and you'll be like, "Oh, this is relaxing, intense because there's 16 relaxing bars and then 16 tense bars." It just feels like in this one it's all happening at once. Like Abyssal Shrine, just sort of like the very slight dissonance to the yeah, I don't to the harmonic sort of journey it's taking you through. It like you definitely feel like you've had a really great nap at the Shrine of Evil. It's really special. I was
For
vibing.
sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Completely forgot what I was going to say next. One thing I found sort of really difficult with this episode is just sort of trying to find more about sort of how this soundtrack was put together and everything, because like Yuzo Koshiro, as I said, is quite open about a lot of stuff on his Twitter, but like I couldn't find a lot about this soundtrack. Uh, like this game came out in 2018, which is like as a 3DS game, which is like after the Switch came out. So like there's very very little about this game that I could find at all, to be quite honest with you. Like Atlas loves to do this at the end of like the life cycle of consoles, is like release a bunch of games that like with really small print runs and are very difficult to get your hands on, which is the main reason I even bought this game in the first place, because I was like, this is an Atlas game coming out in 2018. If I don't buy this now, by the time I actually want to play it, it'll be 3 times the price. And like, yeah, there's very little to actually find out about this game, sort of even online. Like the wiki is very bare bones. Like it is sort of like you can find some fan discussion online, as Abby mentioned, and most of it is just giving out about the fact that it's reused stuff. But yeah, I like the reused stuff though. But yeah, it's just it's been definitely been more difficult than a lot of games for me to actually sort of figure out like what went into actually making it, and the music as well, and sort of like how they decided which parts of the game, or sorry, which parts of the previous games were coming back, and which ones were sort of being left behind. Because I guess like in a lot of ways, this game is a like a swan song, I suppose, because to a degree they sort of knew that this would be the last one, and that you were never going to sort of recreate it. Part of such a big part of the game is obviously drawing your maps and using the second screen for that. And like, you know, they've re-released the games obviously on more modern platforms, but I do think that you're always going to lose something by not having that second screen. And I think they knew that too at the time, so they were like, okay, well, we'll just throw this together as like a bit of a best of collection of everything that's come before, as one last game in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like I think there's a lot to the synthesis of it. And from what I've seen is that I feel like the fact that it's recycled stuff is a bit of a Reddit complaint. Like it's the sort of thing where you're like, yes, but you know, it's still kind of its own.
It was great for me as someone who only had time to play the one before, so everything was new. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm sorry I spoke over you.
No, anytime. The other thing is I had the exact same experience, you know, trying to find Yuzo Koshiro talking about composing this game. Like the only time he ever seems to comment on it is to let people know there will be no more of them. And I just get the feeling that like Yuzo Koshiro like is so music brained, like, you know, music is his first language, Japanese is his second, that he just goes to sleep and then just like wakes up with 2 Etrian Odyssey tracks just like recorded on his computer. That just was fully formed via reverse osmosis. Because it just, I don't know, it just seems like I don't want to. When I say this, I'm not taking anything away from the tracks, but it seems like the sort of stuff that Yuzo Koshiro could just kind of like toss off, and he's like, just I got a spare hour. What if I just made a battle theme for a underwater area? And they're just like, oh, we're making another Etrian Odyssey. Well, I made this underwater battle theme on the toilet.
Yeah, I don't think that's sort of dismissive at all to say, really. Like that's just sort of a testament to how good he is at doing what he does. Like, he's just operating on a completely different level musically, I think, to the rest of us. I possibly mentioned it before, but I've seen an interview with Fortet, who's an electronic musician, and just the way he talks about creating music as though it just sort of happens, and that like he just sort of comes in and he clicks a bunch of things in his DAW, and then suddenly he's got a banger, and you're like, that's just not how the rest of us work. Like you are operating on a level.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, well, the rest of us except for Abby, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, just like some people are just operating on a level that the rest of us could not even begin to conceive of.
Abby, perhaps you could speak on what it's like to operate on a level above us, or several levels above us, as it were.
Oh, it's easy. I can't even dumb myself down enough to describe it.
Well, there you go.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah. I read that both Mozart and what's his name? Your lad who wrote Ulysses, James Joyce, obsessed with farts, both of them, and both regarded as some of the greatest geniuses of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And you counted among them?
I don't know. I think no. Well, I mean, I guess as a comedian, you have to have some amount of entertainment when you think about farts, but like, I don't know. I went on a date once with a man who was like, I'm a big fan of farting. That's like my thing. And I was left very confused.
Wow.
It was the first date. I was like, why would you tell me this?
That's second
Like,
date.
even if-
That's second date best. Like.
Well,
Yeah, that's a to thine own heart be true situation. Like,
yeah. I guess it might be like he didn't want to waste either of our time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've often thought, a different life. You think, had I sat on that bus bench next to that handsome young man, maybe we'd be married now. I'd have a family. The path not taken. I always think, maybe if I'd had beans that day, he would have fallen madly in love with me. And
I'd like to see that
he'd
sliding
dance
doors.
off into the. But you were comparing Yuzo Koshiro to Mozart earlier, and I guess that was my question. Was do you think that's why he was attracted to the Sega Genesis sound chip? Because it sounds like farts. It didn't work. Okay, that was a long setup to a joke that didn't actually. It didn't pay off. But I do think the comparison is beautiful.
That paid off for
I
me.
think it's a funny comparison on its own, so I think you still get the W.
yay.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
I got distracted talking about weird dates I've been on in Los Angeles.
Well, I do feel like in the other musicians we have talked about on the show, that's definitely, I think, a brand of music thinker. It's just Yuzo is the deepest into that. Like, I remember watching the documentary about Jesper Kid, and he had a really hard. He it's not that he wasn't articulate, but like that stopped at a certain place because he couldn't describe. Like, he'd be like, "Oh, I just do it until it sounds cool. What's cool? Dot dot
Ooh.
dot. You know it when you hear it.
Yeah.
It's a pornography of the ears. And he's.
I was in the pornography of the year.
Oh, congratulations! We'll
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But links will be in the show notes. Go on ahead. Sorry, Reese.
No, just that it's very interesting, kind of talking about these processes and these songs because it's like, and I've heard that from other people where like more amateur musicians who aren't operating on this level, but they say that like, my friends, and when they learn music theory, they feel further away from their efforts making music because it's just like they can't square that with it just like sounding cool in their head. And so they just like totally ditch the idea of music theory, which I think is pretty valid in 2025. And just vibe with it. So it's the musical mind. It's special. Yuzo come on the show and explain it all.
Hey, I always heard that in making art, your discernment will always grow faster than your actual abilities. So you'll always feel like you're not good enough, and that's kind of one of the hardest lessons to make peace with as you're growing as an artist. But then I guess with music, there's also the way that, like the way music is taught in the West, like we have half as many notes as a lot of other traditions that go by quarter tones, and so like the way that we're taught what is meant to sound good, like might not, be accounting for the diversity of what can be good.
Yeah.
In the same way that like what sounds like a mispronunciation might be using a phoneme that we physically can't hear because we're not accustomed to it or something. I'm talking mad nonsense, but I'm sure you get the gist of what I'm trying to.
Yeah, you're making perfect sense.
Yay!
All right. Yeah, so we're going to be going into some Battlefield tracks next.
Yeah.
So I guess we'd sort of briefly talk about the battle system. Like we discussed like the parties and everything, but like I think the battle system is really really interesting. Like just because like your party composition is so important to how battles actually go. Like as I mentioned, like any given battle could be the last battle in your run. So like there's a like it really sort of emphasizes like your buffs, debuffs, and just like sort of bindings, which again you mentioned, but just like basically the idea is that you bind certain body parts of the monsters, and that stops them from like activating skills and things like that, and is like massively important to beating bosses. Like there's a lot of bosses that basically you just have to just keep binding their arms so they can't attack you, or like binding their heads so they can't, so that like their attacks miss more often and things like that. So like there's there's a lot of strategy to the battle system in it. And while
it's so fun. There's a party class in the third one being the one that I've spent the most time with, that they're like deep sea robots.
Okay.
Like you have to meet the super advanced civilization in the dungeon to get them, and like they inflict binds on themselves by doing these powerful attacks. I was never good at using them because I couldn't figure out how to make them good. But basically the idea is like they'll shoot off their arms as a rocket punch, do a super strong attack, and then because their arm is physically shot off, their arms are bound for a couple turns.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which it's a heck of a way to do a.
That's really cool. Okay,
yeah, as I say, I never figured it. Yeah. And there's Say.
In the first one, there's a party class that's a whip class that can bind all of your various parts, the enemy's parts, and then has like a big finisher move called Ecstasy. That finishes them off if you totally bind them all. And so I thought that was very fun that they tossed in the BDSM character.
We were talking earlier about how Yuzo Koshiro just tosses people off every morning, or tosses music itself off every morning to get his great skill.
Yeah.
And now we find out there are characters that do the same. That's fascinating. Actually, as long as we're talking about character classes that we like in the series, there's in the third one, there's a very popular character class that is represented on the Nexus. Yeah. It was the Sovereign, or like the Princess. The idea is they're so cute that they inspire the party to fight harder. And they'll be like, oh, be defensive this turn, and they'll give everyone a defense buff, and then by dispelling their buffs early, then they give people like you can turn your buffs into an attack, or it's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like a nice bard character.
Yeah, it does seem like there's as it goes on, it's really good at finding ways to construct these class characters that so they don't just feel like rote mages, because I would certainly struggle to find a way effectively to create a unique mage class if I was sitting down and designing my own homebrew stuff. But I'm really impressed with what I heard on a couple of videos of the way some of this stuff is constructed. Like that princess class sounds very fun, and the flavor, the character around it, for having basically no story in the game, really embodies like a vibe that is very effective for the the headcanon majesty.
100%. Yeah. I want to say the male version of that character class looks very, very little. It's like, oh, here's our sweet little boy. We want to do our best for our little baby. I love it.
I just being around a baby and so charmed by the baby being an RPG buff. I love.
Yeah. I suppose that's one of the things with the classes. It's like it gives you so many options for doing similar things. Like if you want to do a lot of buffing, or like you've got like a bunch of different like swordsmen that you can do like like standard knights, or you can be like a samurai or whatever, and like they all have a different flavor to them, which is like it's really really cool because it gives you it gives you so many options for your party compositions, and like so many of them are incredibly cute. Like we talked about the art style before briefly, and like all the little portraits and stuff like that are so cute, especially when it's just like a tiny little guy with a gigantic fucking sword, which is always fun.
That's actually another thing in the DLC. Like they would let you have, sometimes they'd be packs of character portraits from earlier games in Nexus. But then there was also one that was like a special promotion with some artist, and I thought it was not an attractive card at all. It was just one art. They were like, give us $1 to have like the ugliest picture of a lady you ever saw. And now you can say that's your guy. Why would I want to? I only hang out with hot people. Like the hosts of CRT Sound System.
Well, thank you so much. We only have hot guests on, so.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
It is an honor and a privilege.
Etrian Odyssey 1 HD has DLC where you can add Joker from Persona 5, and that's its only DLC, which I think is very funny. Where it's just
that's so goofy.
If you want to have this game, just remember Persona a little bit. If you want the Joker get killed over and over again by slimes, you can.
Yeah, I suppose it is worth mentioning there are 2 Persona games that are Etrian Odyssey games. We previously did the Persona Q2 episode. God, when was that?
Oh yeah, that I want to say that was this. Oh no, it was. That's how it is. The Never mind. That like the Etrian Mystery Dungeon I was talking about earlier. That.
Yeah,
was also a crossover. I thought it was the same team or something, but now that I'm thinking about it, that doesn't make sense.
No, there's the Mystery Dungeon was done. I think it was done in house by Chunsoft. I think it was just sort of one of their. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but yeah, Persona Q2, really really fun games. Those ones as well. Lots of really good, cool. Remixes and sort of lots of Persona music. So again, check out our previous episode with Professor Tom from the Shujin Academy VGM Club podcast. But yeah, it's fun to sort of see where they sort of like to include little references and like little bonus characters and stuff like that in Atlas games, because they know that the kind of sickos who love to play Atlas games play all of them. All right, so we'll jump into these battle tracks. So 2 of them, I have 2 Battlefield and 1 Tumult. So Battlefield Elation, Battlefield the Foolhardy are bathed in blood, and Tumult Twilight of all life.
As I'm sure you can guess from the super titles, the Battlefield ones are regular fights, and the Tumults are, I think, against FOEs and bosses.
Yeah.
really gives you a sense of how kinetic the battles are in this game.
Oh, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo.
I would say this is some of the best music to like stare out of a car window and imagine your OCs having a cool anime fight too.
100%.
Absolutely.
As I typed in the podcast chat, the music
Oh,
is
yeah.
so wound up. I'm fighting my amiibos right now, which is true. It's not a joke.
What kind of super moves were you doing on your amiibos?
I was doing the whale palm strike, a bunch of blue tiger fist punches. I got
Good choices, good
seating,
choices.
so not nothing too flashy.
These are good choices.
But Wedding Dress Peach got it.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
On our wedding day.
Massive shout out to Noriyuki Kamikura, who does all the guitar on these soundtracks. Just absolutely shredding it.
Nice work.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, formerly of the Falcom JDK band. So yeah, just
is this the Daddy Mulk?
No,
wait, that's Taito.
That's Taito. Yeah, that's a difference. Yeah, but an equally incredible house band for Falcom. Yeah, he's going to show up later as well because he arranged the Etrian Odyssey Nexus versions of the tracks that I'm going to be playing next.
Hey.
So yeah, but yeah, like he's another person who's been around for quite a while. Works primarily, by the looks of it, with Bassescape after leaving the JDK band. So for people who don't know Bassescape, they are Hitoshi Sakamoto's sort of music group. So yeah, like Grim Grimoire, anything done by the
oh hey,
what's the name of the company that does all those games?
Vanillaware.
Vanillaware, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't sure if it was Nipponichi because they published.
They publish a lot of those as well.
Something.
Yeah.
Or they localized. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a crossover.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see if he's on 13 Sentinels, which I'm assuming he must be, because that soundtrack is great and has a lot of great musicians on it. No, actually, he's not on it. Interestingly enough, yeah, but yeah, seems to be mostly on a lot of Yuzo Koshiro stuff as of recent times as well. So I'm guessing maybe he's part of Ancient Corporation now or something that he's working with Yuzo Koshiro on a bunch of things. Yeah, there's a lot of credits on this soundtrack actually. So. A lot of really good musicians playing on these because a lot more live instrumentation on it than the earlier soundtracks, as I mentioned. Yeah, so Yuzo Koshiro bringing his little ditties that he composed on his PC-88 over to over to a live band to get them to shred out on it, and it works for me. As I mentioned, like this series in general is an absolute treasure trove of battle themes. Some of my absolute favorites of all time are in this series, and there's at least sort of 3 or 4 per game, if not more, because as Abby mentioned, like there's different ones for standard battles and for like boss battles and FOEs. Some games have like very distinct ones just for FOEs and just for boss battles, and then they'll usually have like one per stratum so like whenever you go to like a new biome in the game, you'll get a new battle theme and new sort of exploration themes to go along with it. So like these soundtracks are absolutely massive, just because he's composed unique pieces for pretty much everything. So like yeah, you've really got a lot to dig into if you like this and you want to hear more.
I find
it's interesting. Oh
no, Abby, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting to think how dungeon crawlers are very famous for being very samey, and they don't really do that much. There's different monsters, different appearances, and different music. Okay, now that I'm saying it, they do a lot. But I would
Yeah.
say that the changes to the music, are going a long way to giving that sense of individuality to
Mm.
every setting.
Yeah, I mean, I would say as well they do a really good job, like visually as well, of distinguishing between them. Like some of the final dungeons in these games have like really really oppressive like visuals. Like, I forget which game it was. It's basically like this one that you're just running around and it's red. Everything is red. All the vegetation is red. There's just like and it just feels so oppressive, and the music to go along with it is just is really but like they really do a good job of just like sort of visually making each of the stratums in the game look different. One thing I suppose I want to mention, because you did briefly touch on it earlier on, Abby, is how they all sort of end up having a bit of a reveal that that there's more to the world than just sort of what looks like a fairly straightforward fantasy setting. I think the first game is set like super in the future of like our modern world. And you discover that by getting right to the bottom of the tree, and you get to like a modern city. But like there's like one
Lost Shinjuku.
Oh,
is it Shinjuku? Is it?
That's when I previously looked at all the stratum names on the
Yeah.
wiki. The one before the final one is Lost Shinjuku.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. There's ones where you're going to like underwater.
you meet Atlantis.
You go to Atlantis. That's the word. That's the place I was looking for. And then you in 5, I think you go to space. I forget what it is in 4, but like they all have this sort of this twist towards the end of the game where like there's more to the world than we initially thought, and that's cool. I like that they sort of keep that as a little sort of series hallmark as the game goes on. I think this one as well is sort of gives you that sort of futuristic ending as well. I forget what exactly they do with it. I remember watching a YouTube video about this quite a while ago, so I've completely forgotten. Go on, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was saying yeah.
Okay, I thought you had more to say on that.
Get him.
Yeah, get him.
Do it. Yeah, absolutely. I love the power of in game of the setting of each stratum, which is like every 5 levels you'll go through and you'll be like, oh, this is the crazy jungle stratum now, and now the enemies poison you and stuff like that. And you have all the music and stuff to theme. And it's and it's not the craziest observation of all time to just be like, oh, the video game has different levels and the stuff is themed for them. But I think Etrian Odyssey is unique in how powerful. Like whenever I listen to people talk, they're just like the whole game is thought of in what stratum you're on, sort of what you're doing, and it really grounds you. Is like you know exactly how far through the game you are, and sort of like you get a real relationship with each stratum. Like when I had to go back and do quests in the jungle area, I was like, oh yeah, I missed a jungle. This tune bops, and it's I don't know. It's good video game. That's my observation.
Yeah, very good video game.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that other people have chosen to join me in my opinion.
No, you have incepted the opinion.
Yeah, I feel like you've activated something in Reese.
Hey,
because
I'm so sorry.
I know that she's like a sicko for like dungeon crawler RPGs. Like you've played wizardry and shit like that, haven't you, Reese?
Ooh.
I have. I played the first Megami Tensei game for NES, which no one else has played because that's a dungeon crawler. And so the fact that it has all these like map making tools and stuff, and you get quests that are just like fill out B11F, do it now, and I'm just like, yes, yes, soldier, I'm so happy to obey you, soldier. It's like it's great.
Yeah, it's. I was genuinely surprised to find that you hadn't played this series before, because it does feel it feels right up your alley as a sicko for this particular type of game.
Well, I didn't have a lot
It's
of.
kind of
I was never a big DS girl.
Mm.
I not until I at the end of the DS's lifespan
Oh,
did I. It's actually very easy to hack your DS. I don't know if you know, but I did that and sort of been enjoying that, and then it sort of just became my Final Fantasy theaterism device for about 5 years, and I've
that's a
cut
great
out the
thing to use it for.
Yeah.
yeah.
Eh.
Like not many better things you could use a 3DS for. To be honest.
Yeah.
As much as I love that system, Theatrhythm is that's a future episode, I reckon.
That's a cheat, I think.
Yeah.
Because it well, I guess Nexus is also a cheat. My going for Etrian Odyssey Nexus, just because it has all the other game songs.
Sure.
It's kind of funny how the addition of auto mapping software, or like an auto mapping function in like the later Megami Tensei would have been such a selling point, I imagine. And then only for decades later, now people are like, no, I don't want you to do my map for me. I want to be able to do it on the bottom screen.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a big selling point. Where it's like, oh, it's like when you used to have to draw a map in the old days, but now it's just on your DS. So like, I guess the game does sort of mostly auto map to a degree. Like it fills in the squares you've been to, but like you do need to draw the walls and the doors and stuff, which I think is the real fun of it anyway.
Yeah.
I think when I played the original Phantasy Star, the fact that they included a map in that was just in the Switch version of that, having it do an auto map for you as you play through that game is an absolute godsend. I think it's maybe probably something that like I passed me by. I never understood as a kid that you were supposed to draw your own maps. So I remember like running around in Metroid and just being completely fucking lost and being like, how are you supposed to know where you're going? And realizing much later in my life that you were supposed to just take some graph paper and draw your own maps as you went. That was just the accepted thing to do.
It's worth mentioning that it's a lost art, and I'm not being returned with a V about it, but there was decades ago there were a class of freak nerds, of which I include myself, whose whole life was around playing games that you had to map the dungeons and kind of figuring out how to represent it, and then being able to like pour through your maps once you completed it and show them to people, that sort of thing. That's like the whole fucking point of wizardry. And that's kind of why it's pleasing in a way that sometimes it's hard to convey in 2025 is because like part of overcoming the mystery was not just grinding, but sort of mapping the dungeon in such a way that you were solving the problem for yourself. And so you had just like this, it's a way of dominating the game that I think we don't engage in nearly as much, just because it's actually it's fucking homework. It's like, imagine if an RPG asked you to do like 200 long division problems to be able to get to the water area. I feel like I'm making that joke, and it might be something Etrian Odyssey also asks me to do. And it's just a different kind. It's a different world. It's a different gaming.
Yeah, I'm having a Dickens of a time imagining someone who like weebs out about classic Math Blaster, and it was great before they pushed out Bob Greenawalt, who designed the original Math Blaster, and that guy could do things with the Amiga sound trip that you wouldn't believe.
I saw a Number Munchers sticker today, So those
Wow.
types must still be around and making stickers.
What is a number muncher?
It's an obscure term for a mathematician lesbian. I don't. I got nothing. I'm so sorry.
No. That's the better answer. Number Munchers was like the math game that came on like a bunch of the classroom computers.
Oh, just okay,
in the kind
like
of 80s. Yeah. Along with Oregon Trail, you probably had Number Munchers, and there'd be a grid, and you'd have to solve the problems by navigating to the right part of the grid and avoiding all the monsters that would change the number and shit like that. Future episode coming.
Yeah, we had the BBC Micros in our school, so I mostly remember just like was it Zork? I think there was Zork on it, and yeah, I don't think we had Oregon Trail in the schools in Ireland, to be honest. So I think
I remember whenever I'd visit my. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Finish. I didn't know you had a tag, and I was trying to keep the banter going, but instead I interrupted your tag.
That's fine.
And ruined it. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I'll just edit all that out anyway, so not to worry.
My grandma had a BBC Micro whenever I'd go visit her in Birkenhead, and I remember my favorite thing to play on the BBC Micro was called Oi, Arithmetic, innit? And because that's what the English sound like. All of them, even in Birkenhead.
In Birkenhead, where they have
actually, if the Birkenhead educational software was like, I can count to 5. I can't do a Birkenhead voice. My mother would be very upset with me. Disappointed. It's lovely. There we go. That's what she says. She says it's lovely. I've re-earned my mother's love.
Oh well, that's the most important thing. The podcast is here to do that.
Could you have her on next? I wonder what video game soundtrack she would have the least annoyance with.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
I was least irritated by this video game soundtrack.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
I would love that.
We couldn't get the licensing for that one, unfortunately.
Had
to pay too much money to Rockstar. All right, so we're going to jump into this last block of tracks anyway. So this
contains my favorite piece, the one that sold me on the series, the first battle.
Hell yeah.
So I'm very excited for it. Keep an ear out. The one that makes you really want to imagine Euro C's having an anime fight out the window of a car. It's that one.
Excellent. Originally composed by Yuzo Koshiro and arranged by Noriyuki Kamikura. So we have Cityscape, the Dusk-clad Ocean City, Battlefield, the first battle, and Battlefield, Is This Blood Thine or the Enemies? Incredible name for a track. I can definitely see hearing the first battle and just being like, yeah, I'm locked in on this.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Went
Oh
to
my
Best
God.
Buy, cried to my parents for hours. They said, fine. It was that or get a Moog.
God, those tracks, I'm changed inside. I definitely have to play Nexus, or just
Yay!
get this off of Tom's Soulseek.
Legitimate channels. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just blast it until it creates a problem in my relationship.
Yeah, as I said, you
Respectable.
could go deep on just battle themes in this series. Like there's like 6 or 7 per soundtrack, and almost all of them are as good as that. Like they are. This is a really good game if you love a battle theme. All these soundtracks are on streaming, so like they're quite easily accessible.
Oh, hey.
Whatever streaming platform you use, they're almost certainly up there. Like Yuzo Koshiro is somebody who sort of from early days has always had his music on streaming. Like I think I remember back when like there was nothing on Spotify. The Etrian Odyssey soundtracks are some of the ones that were like there really, really early. I think that's
cool. Good for him.
Yeah, like he's been sort of pushing that. So I mean, it's good to see. People complain about streaming as being the death of music. In many ways, it is, but it is. It's nice to be able to listen to video game music as music dies.
Yeah, I was listening to an AI generated video game song the other day, and it was meant to be a piano concerto, but it must have been made to be played by someone with like 8 fingers.
Oh my goodness!
Is that still no? That's old hat kind of joke. Sorry, it's probably behind the times.
That's. I mean, because I think many, if not most of us, have 8 fingers. So.
Really? You know why this makes me mad is because I actually was born with 6 fingers.
Are just gravy, is what I'm saying.
10 fingers is the luxury.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't aware of the finger situation in other parts of my life. I didn't mean this anything problematic.
Fair. I forgive you.
Thank you.
I was born with 6 fingers on both of my hands. This is true. This is the rare, weird thing I say that is true. But like they didn't have muscle or bones, so they cut them off real early with most polydactyl situations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know most, but mine, like they would have just gotten caught in stuff and caused me a great deal of pain, so they cut them off. And I always, like as a child, I was so mad at my mom for doing this, like objectively the right decision. I was like, Mom, I would have been so cool.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Can't I just get a muscle and nerve and bone implant? That's got to be a thing.
Yeah. I'd never even seen The Princess Bride, but just on some level, I inherently knew that one day there'd be.
Yeah.
I get really into a corny movie for kids where there's a 6-fingered man, and I'll be envious of this fictional jerk.
Yeah. He killed his father. But he wanted him to prepare to die.
He was prepared to die in the end. Yeah.
That was a long walk to that, but
yeah, I'm getting a little punchy. Might be time for me to wrap up, anyways.
I think it's certainly time for all of us to wrap up. Thanks so much again for joining us, Abby. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. Do you want to tell people where they can find you online, or if you've got anything you want to plug? Now is the time.
I now have a landing page, abbydenton.com, if you want to find out what I'm selling, what I'm buying, where you can see my shows. If you're in Los Angeles, look, this is silly. I'm currently hosting an open mic at my church every Thursday on Wilshire Boulevard near the Vermont and Wilshire Metro stop at Emmanuel Presbyterian. They're very nice. It's a queer affirming church where we're always. Our pastor keeps getting arrested for protesting ICE. Like, we're good guys.
Nice. Based.
Thank you. Honestly, the most based pastor I've ever had. They They were protesting at Home Depot recently. They were holding a vigil for people who died in ICE custody, especially people who've been, because Home Depot apparently has a policy that they won't like shut their doors to ICE. Like they just love it when their customers get arrested. That's the Home Depot policy. We love it when our customers get arrested.
Clearly.
But they did close their security gates to like a collection of pastors and priests and clergy protesting this. Like they do have standards, just deranged ones for morons. Like ever since I heard this story, like I've been just on the edge of my seat with rage. I can't function with how angry it makes me that they do that there and not when a normal person would do it.
Yeah. I can absolutely understand.
But this open mic is Thursdays at 7. And, all are welcome. You don't have to be church people or even want to be church people to be welcome. Free stage, be nice. If you've heard my description of my church and you think we might disapprove of some material, then go with your gut. We're not really interested in, don't use us to say something horrible. But please come and be nice. And we have already been described as just the most syrupy, sweet.
Andrew Dice Clay, you've been warned.
Yeah. Get out of here.
It sounds lovely.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited about. Abbyden.com. Ta-da!
Check it out. Check out The Blade of Cutie Pants: A Winter of Discontent.
Oh.
A really fun experience. I'm still thinking about it.
Hey,
really funny. A lot of if you've listened to Abby on this podcast, which it's likely that you have, considering at the point of the podcast we're at. And you enjoy her quips, her rejoinders. The whole game is full of it. It's great. Full of it in a good way. Full of the quips and rejoinders.
Hey. I myself have often been described as full of it.
Indeed. Reese,
it's been an honor to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for your time.
A genuine treat.
Reese. And you two are my friends.
It's true.
Bye.
It's true.
It's true, yeah. Everybody's friends online now.
That's nice.
My stuff,
Reese.
You can check me out at Video Games Are the Worst Thing on Earth, a podcast about being mentally ill about video games in a somewhat leftist manner. More mentally ill than leftist these days, as our psyche deteriorates. Also, I have a personal podcast called Existential Warfare. If you have something that you would enjoy talking about long form for let's say an hour-ish, I would be curious in you hitting me up. So I need more people to interview about stuff for that podcast. So let me know, or just listen to it, or don't. I'm not a cop.
You can find.
You have to tell us if you are a cop.
Yeah, you do have to tell us that is the rule.
Just send us emails. Hi, I am a cop. It is nice to meet you. Bye. I'm just impressed they can write.
Yeah, seriously.
It is like seeing a dog wear a suit.
but less cute.
Indeed. You can find us on Patreon, CRT Sound System. You can find us on Discord. Come and hang out with us, talk about video game music, or whatever else. Come on the show. Send me a DM. Send Reese a DM. Tell your friends to come on the show. Whatever you want. We always love to have guests, and we love a reason to talk about somebody's favorite soundtrack.
Tell your mom to come on the show.
Tell your mom to come on the show. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we'll have Mom Month. It'll be great.
Mom? Yes, I think they're Irish, but it's fine.
That's it. So we're going to go out with one last track, which is, let me pull up my notes here again. It is Tumult, Raise Thy Sword in Pride. And again, that is by Yuzo Koshiro and Noriyuki Kamikura. And I shall leave you all with that. Thank you, Reese. Thank you, Abby. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Good night.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Reese. Thank you, Tom.